Sit right down and I'll show you where my dreams began.
I'm Michael Dugan, your culinary host, guiding you through the chef's journey. Join me at the chef's table, where you'll experience stories, secret sauces, signature dishes, and kitchen disasters.
Come on in to a place you've never been. Sit right down and I'll show you where my dreams began.
I'm Michael Dugan from the Pacific Northwest, guiding you through the chef's journey, creating an experience of stories, secret sauces, signature dishes, and kitchen disasters. Be our guest and join us on Voice for Chefs today. In this episode, we take you behind the scenes for a delightful conversation. Welcome to part 2 of Adventures with La Spiga, where we continue to learn about Pietro and Sabrina. In this episode, we'll take a deeper dive and learn about how La Spiga was formed and what Pietro did to woo his wife, Sabrina. And finally, we'll discover their amazing food and a surprise dessert. Please join us for part 2 of Adventures with La Spiga. Ciao, Pietro.
Ciao, Michael.
Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
So I want to circle back to one thing here.
Yeah.
When you met Sabrina, I love Italians because they're so romantic, and you strike me as a romantic. Was there anything when you were dating that you did to woo her?
I think that it was definitely the first encounter that we had that kind of convinced her that I could have been a good guy. and it's because we met in the story is kind of funny because I was coming back with a group of friends. We went to the Oktoberfest in Munich. And on the way back, we were like, we need to give like kind of a cultural twist. We decided to stop in Salzburg to visit the city, which is beautiful, and the Mozart Museum. And when we got there, it was really cold because it was October, and we decided to go into this café to drink something hot, right? And she was there reading a book, and that's how I didn't want to go. Basically, I was trying to keep my friends out of the coffee shop because I said, we came here to go see Mozart, and they basically pushed me inside. And right before entering, I saw her, and I turned around and I told my friends, guys, I'm in love. I fell in love.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Shut up. And, rowdy Italians. And of course, in Austria, they sat us all the way in the back and tried to keep away from other customers. And after about 10 minutes, she says that she was cold, and because she was close to the door that was opening, and she has to be moved. And so they moved her to the back right by our table. When I saw her coming, I told her, siamo molto felici che tu ti sia venuta a sedere qui. And she replied in German, I don't speak Italian. I didn't know German. And so I repeated it in English. And I said, we are very happy that you came and sit here. And the fate wanted that she was American. So, and then when she smiled and I said, do you mind if I keep you company? And she said, yes, please. And so I got my coffee and I went and sat with her. And 3 or 4 hours later, then we got out of the coffee shop. I asked her to show me a little bit of downtown Salzburg. I completely left my friends there, and she ended up missing like 3 or 4 of the buses that were taking her back home, and the last one that she could physically get to go back to her school where she was lodged, we exchanged information. We didn't exchange information. I think this is what I think gave me an edge. I just told her. She told me that she was going to come with the school to visit Venice, and I said, "Well, if you come down, to Venice, Venice is about a couple of hours from my hometown. If you want to come visit, give me a call or send me a letter, because there was no email back then."
Uh-huh.
And I told her, "You stay with me and my mom." Like a regular Italian guy, was still living at home with my mom. But I never asked her for her information. So I just knew that she was Sabrina from Salzburg, and I left it to fate. After 1 month, she wrote me a letter. I got this letter. She didn't know about the mail system in Italy that is pretty slow, so she thought I would get it in time. But the letter, when I opened it, she said, "Well, it's Sabrina. If your invitation is still open, I am coming down to Venice with the school." And the day was the next day. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to miss it." And she wrote the phone number of the school down. So I called her, and I was able to talk to her. And I said, "Look, I just got your letter today, but if you're up to it, tomorrow I can't come and pick you up in Venice. But if you take this train from Venice to Bologna, I can come and pick you up in Bologna." And that's what she did. She came to Bologna. I picked her up. She spent the weekend with me, with my friends. We had a blast. It was amazing. And then after that, almost every weekend, she would come down, 8 hours of train each way. And she would spend the weekend with me. After a year of that, we called it. We said, "You got to move down. We can't do this anymore." And that's what she did.
Wow. So can you tell our listeners how La Spiga was shaped?
La Spiga basically was born in Italy as a concept. At one point, we realized that we both were really into the culinary aspect of our life. And she was starting, getting a little homesick, and she was missing her family. And so in 1995, we took a long trip. In Italy, it's easier to do that. And we came to visit the whole family here for 45 days in all the cities where she had families, right? Family. And we went to Alaska, we went to Louisiana, we went to Detroit and Chicago. And then we came to Seattle because her sister was living here. I really liked Seattle a lot. And so I told her, "Well, if you ever want to come back to the United States, I think that Seattle is the place where I would feel more comfortable living." And in 1997, we decided, we were like, "Okay, let's go. Let's take you back home, Sabrina." And but I said, "Well, I'm not coming and just staying at home without a job. So we need to do something." We had these 3 shops that we sold, and we cashed in, and then we went into partnership with the La Spiga that we opened in 1998. And we were still not in the actual location. We were on Broadway and Union, where right now there's a 8-ounce burger. That was our first location. But even that was kind of it was an interesting thing and a big adventure, because we decided to build it in Italy, ship it over, and to give it more of an authentic spin, right? So it was. We built it all. My brother did the project. We built it all in Italy. We put it in a 40-foot container and we shipped it over. We brought the tiles for the floor. All the wall tiles, just to give it that sense of authenticity.
Really incredible that you brought the authenticity back to Seattle.
Yeah, that's what we tried. We wanted to be as authentic as possible, even with the food. I think it paid off.
I would say, moving forward, is there a chef that you admire?
Well, besides my wife, right? Because my wife is, pretty talented. She's got a palate that is unbelievable. She can eat something and then tell you exactly what's in there and how it was prepared. It's unbelievable. And reproduce it. That's the other thing. But as of now, lately, we've been, after 22 years of being open as La Spiga, we've been exposed to a lot of different chefs from Seattle. I have to say that, I met several. One is Scott Carlsberg, which I think is a genius.
Mm.
And another, the Bisato and Lampreia. I met him when he was at Lampreia, and we're friends. But another one that is very shy and doesn't like to be under the spotlight, but I think he's extremely talented, is Jeff Conkle, that now cooks at the Harvest Night. I really, really like his food. And
what makes him so talented?
I think he has a good way with vegetables. I like the way he preps his vegetables. And it's I don't know. He's got a good spin. Of course, he's got a good Spanish spin, but he knows how to do even Italian things. I really like it. But in general, he's very, very talented. He knows how to use. He loves to harvest his own stuff. He's always on a pea patch somewhere. He's really interested. He's a really interesting character too. And but for other, internationally, I was blown away by Massimo Bottura for sure. Of the Osteria Francescana in Modena. Sabrina and I visited. We went to see what he was all about, and I gotta say that he is all that they say he is. Massimo Bottura is a real genius. He is able to modernize simple old flavors. It's pretty the molecular cuisine, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a scientist in there.
There's such a movement on that cuisine and culture.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
It's worth it. Like if anybody wants to go, I went both to, he's got 2 restaurants there, but probably even more.
Okay.
But one is the Osteria Francescana, which is the one that he got really famous for. And then he has a bistro, where we say it the French way, bistro. That's called La Franceschetta. And if you don't want to spend all the money that you spend in L'Osteria Francescana, you can get a really good idea of what his cooking is at the Franceschetta for maybe like a fifth of the price. Yeah.
Okay. And when you think about things, you've traveled around the world in a lot of different places. What special place in the world have you been that connects food and culture that you haven't already talked about?
I would say Colombia. Colombia really struck me and maybe it was also for the quality of the people that I encountered there. Like it was an interesting. My friends were saying, "Are you going to Colombia?" What? It was in 1993 when I went to Colombia, and I was there when they killed Pablo Escobar. So, and my friends were telling us, well, "Isn't it dangerous?" And I actually didn't find it dangerous at all when I was there. But the street food of Colombia was really impressive. The quality of the meats, we had some very interesting stuff. Arepas, they make this arepa, which is kind of a little bit like a piadina romagnola, and they have these carts all over the place, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I was impressed, and the fruit, the vegetables. They have like 3 harvests a year of everything. It's such a fertile land.
Wow. Can you describe for us kind of the experience of La Spiga and 3 of your favorite specialty dishes?
So, we base our cuisine on my region. So I would say it's mostly regional cooking that we do there, and because of that, pasta has a big weight on what we do, and we always try to reproduce the authentic recipes, and many of them are family recipes. We started off as more of a simple, very casual place, and then moving forward, we expanded our venue, especially when we moved to the new location with such a bigger space. We needed to offer a more complete menu.
How long have you been open?
1998 was when we opened the first place, October 5th, 1998. And then in 2006, we sold the old place and we opened in the new place. So basically, we moved La Spiga from Broadway Union to 12th and Pike.
Of your specialty dishes, is there one favorite that your customers love and talk about?
Yeah, we have what we call the classics, those items that we cannot take off the menu because people would get mad. And those are the 4 basic pastas that we never change in the menu. And it's the lasagne verdi, which is the, layers of green noodles with bechamel and ragu and parmigiano. And the gnocchi al pomodoro, the tagliatelle al ragù e al burro di tartufo. Those are the 4 things that probably we sell the most. We rotate the proteins according to the season. Right now we have the beer braised pork shank, and it's fantastic. But right before that, we were doing the milk braised pork cheeks, and that one is a big success. So there are several, and then there's the prosciutto and the antipasti. It's like we can't not nominate that. In prosciutto, we sell a lot of prosciutto alla Spiga.
I always ask our chefs and owners if there is one dessert, I call it a desert island dessert, that you would want to try.
Classic as it is, I think our tiramisu is, which we call mascarpone, and we call it il mascarpone di Ida. Ida is my mom, and that was her recipe. And it's particularly good because it's super light. The other fun fact right now, it's that my daughter is making, and she's great. But even our panna cotta is always top quality.
As we wrap up, is there any special message that you want to share with our listeners about how they can help both you and the community? It's
support and mostly being open to these new things that are happening in the restaurant business. But they are happening because there's a need for survival. We've been supported. We see a lot of repeat customers, and that's what warms our hearts. Help everybody, your neighborhood restaurant. Help them because their lives depending on that. Not just the life of the restaurateur, but all the people that work around it, our suppliers, our employees, everybody.
Is there anything else you would like to tell us about what's going on in the industry right now?
I'm really proud of a lot of our colleagues. They come in, they show support to each other, first of all.
It's amazing.
Collaborations are coming up like beautifully, but also how smart a lot of people have become, really finding new way. We learn a lot from each other.
I'm part of the Seattle Restaurant Support Group on Facebook, and I joined to learn, and I have so much passion for the people, especially Jill.
Jill is amazing.
Oh my gosh, the admin. She is incredible.
I read the post continuously because I learn something every day. Yeah,
me too. And I try to repost stuff on my Facebook page so that people hear about things. I'm going to move on, and I wanted to tell you this episode has a special place in my heart because I was married in southern Italy, in Gravina in Puglia, with my wife Carrie.
Wow, in Gravina di Puglia. I have a friend that lives here that is from Gravina di Puglia. Enzo, he works for Microsoft, of course. Oh, it's the same Enzo then.
Yes.
Yeah, Enzo Teresa. Yeah.
Enzo is a friend of ours, and he's part of the reason that we got married there.
Yeah. Very nice couple.
And they're very special people. How do people find you if they're a tourist or if they're a local? How would they get to your restaurant?
We are on 12th Avenue and Pike, so pretty famous, especially after last summer. Place, and we are in a historical building that is called Piston and Ring.
And your website?
My website is www.laspiga.com.
Pietro, I just want to thank you on behalf of Voice for Chefs for being our guest today.
It's a pleasure.
And do you have any parting words for us in Italian?
Volevo ringraziare i nostri clienti e te per il sostegno che ci avete mostrato negli ultimi 22 anni della mia vita.
Wow. And what does that mean?
That I wanted to thank, besides you, all the customers that have showed their support in the past 22 years of our life.
Thanks for joining us today. Follow us on Facebook, like us, comment. You can also go out to our website, voiceforchefs.com, and stay tuned for the next episode of Voice for Chefs. Thanks for joining us today. Follow us on Facebook. Find our website in the show notes. Subscribe on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen. Leave a comment with 5 stars and stay tuned for the next episode of Voice for Chefs.